Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Govs on the Go Staff Spotlight, a podcast featuring staff in the College of Arts and Letters here at Austin Peay State University. My name is Dr. Buzz Hoon. I'm the Dean of the College. I'm also the host of this podcast. Today, my guest is Cindy McElroy, Academic Administrative Assistant in the Department of Communication. Cindy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I apologize if I somehow mispronounced your last name.
You did just fine. Thank you.
We practiced many times before, and I really want to do it right. Let's just, before we get into what you do here at Austin Peay, let's talk a little bit about growing up. I always like to find out a little bit about the person. What kind of things did you like to do, and where did you grow up?
I actually grew up here. My father was in the military.
Nice, okay.
We retired here, and this was home for me. I went to Ringgold Elementary School, New Providence, and Northwest. I graduated in '78. I came to Austin Peay the first time in '78, but just had so many things going on. I decided school wasn't for me at that time.
Sure.
But I made a wonderful transition, and that as I got into my 40s, an opportunity arose for me to come back to school as a non-trad. And I am so grateful that I did, because I've been blessed by the education, by being an example to my children, and by learning the Austin Peay community and the friends that I've made here.
The non-traditional route is certainly one that many of our students take, but I admire the challenges. And not only did you have to deal with schoolwork, you had a family at the time, and you mentioned to me just before we began filming that you had a class even with your son. What was that like?
I did. Oh, well, for him, it was embarrassing for me, first of all, because I didn't want to kill his rap. He was sitting with friends, and I tried to act like, I'll just get way over here and maybe they won't notice that I'm in here. And I felt like I was going to be, a distraction to him. But clearly, he made me feel so welcome. He turned around and looked at me and said, "Hey, Mom." And that was a moment I'll never forget. I was like, okay, we can do this. But it's been such an experience being not only a student at Austin Peay, but being employed here and having the community that I have here and the friends that I've made.
How did you transition into Austin Peay as an employment area?
I was actually, once I graduated from Austin Peay, I went into legal field, and I was working for an attorney for about 10 years. And David said, there may be an opening, and you might want to consider it, for 401k and for working for the state and everything. It just sounded good. Not that I didn't love what I was doing, but I just felt like it was time for me to transition over. And the opportunity arose. I started my work here at Austin Peay, working for housing and residence life, and loved that. Another opportunity came up to work for the executive office of the vice president, and I worked there for Tammy Bryant and Greg Singleton and several others for many years before the opportunity came up here to come back to the department that I actually graduated with my degree in, and that was Dr. Pam Gray, and she offered me the position, and I took it, and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm first of all, we're all glad that you did.
Well, thank you.
You provide such a warm welcome for our students and our faculty when they come into the department.
Thank you.
What makes the Department of Communication different maybe from some of the other areas that you've been and, singles them out?
I think at one point I was working for the student support side, and that was a blessing too. But then I came over to faculty support, where I was actually engaging more with students. And I think the students really are the turning point for me, just getting to know them as individuals and cheering them on and being there for them. As a parent, I got to be on that side where I was there for them. My door was open, and they would come in and sit down, maybe talk to me while they were going through something, or offering them a drink, water, or it was a different dynamic, I guess, and it became more of I felt like I was doing something a little more for the students at that point, and it's been wonderful.
Every job has its joys and challenges. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges first, because I think sometimes those we learn from them. We also learn how to grow and become better at our job.
Yes.
What have been some of the challenges over the years?
New programs. I'm going to be very transparent. I'm 65. First of all, I don't think anybody's too old to learn. And one of the
Agreed.
blessings that I have here, I think it's the secret to perpetual youth, is to keep learning. Keep learning and keep learning and keep exposing yourself to things that are going to help you to grow and to mature and to help others. But it has been a little bit of a challenge because we have, over the last few months, we've had to learn different programs and that kind of thing. And the one thing that keeps me grounded is I'm not the only person learning. There are so many other people, and we're just kind of helping each other. We're kind of walking through it together. But that is the challenge. The gift, again, that would have to be the students, just getting to know them.
That they are a joy,
They are.
and to see them from when they come in as a freshman until then they leave and then come back for another visit. And I'm sure you've had over the years a number of students that have given you that blessing.
Yes, and oh my goodness, I can think of several that have come back and left little notes on my desk. And that's a very emotional thing for me, to be able to have a student come back and say, I learned something not only from academia, but I learned something from you, and that's a joy, that's a gift, and that's something that I cherish forever and ever.
Yeah. Any other favorite memories that you have within the department? Because I see you're included in so many different areas, because you'll come over for, when they have events and things like that. But any other favorite memories that you might have associated with working here in the department?
Well, I think one of the really cool things that I got to do that was so much fun, I've been painting rocks for years and just leaving them across campus and the community. And I was asked by the people who were hosting the academic and assistant program to come in and do a rock painting class with everybody during a break. And so we brought rocks in, and everybody just had a little rock painting session, and it was so therapeutic and so fun and so enjoyable, and everybody had an opportunity to hide that rock somewhere. Yeah. It just turned out to be a blessing. It was really fun.
Yeah,
and so those kids will find those rocks.
That's very cool. I usually like to ask people what they like to do outside of work. And I know I have a little bit of inside information with you, because I know you're an accomplished singer. I've seen you before perform, and you're wonderful. How did you get into singing, and why do you continue to do this?
Wow. I think singing has always been a part of our culture. Being Latina, I remember our culture pretty much evolved around food and music. There was always lots of food and always lots of music. And that is really how I grew to appreciate music. I was so shy, though. I never really sang professionally until I was well out of school. I was very, very shy. And the way that I got to sing professionally is my brothers formed a band and asked me if I would come and sing with them. So I started singing backup. And we had a little band called Daddy's Money, and it was doing quite well in Clarksville. And then that evolved to a bluegrass band called Pickers from Afar. And then that evolved to the Beagles. And I guess the Beagles is probably the most well-known band that I've been in. And that's really how it started. Now you just can't shut me up. I'm just like anywhere.
If you have the opportunity to see Cindy perform, please go and see her. It's worth not only will you have a fine meal, but you'll be able to hear some really great tunes. One other thing that I want to ask you about, because I know this as well, that you are very much a family person.
Yes.
And you just recently added to and expanded your family. Talk a little bit about why family is so important to you.
Well, it's always been important to me, because the way that we grew up, you were here for each other. And so that's why the students, in a way, became family to me, because I would look at them and I would think, if I were their mom and they were hours away from home, I would want somebody to be generous and kind to them, make sure they eat, make sure they, have what they need. And that comes from the fostering of wonderful parents and family. And as I got older, that was what I wanted to instill to my children. And my youngest son just recently had our granddaughter, Finley, and she is a little over a month. And we have so much to be grateful for. I have a beautiful family, and I am so grateful.
Well, thank you for being a blessing within the Department of Communications.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a guest on our new podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thanks to our viewers and listeners out there for joining us. We will continue to profile some of the outstanding staff members we have in the College of Arts and Letters here at Austin Peay State University. So until next time, stay safe, take care, and God bless.